And a very good morning to you. It's Tuesday the 6th of March 2012. Welcome along, Chris Reardon with today's United Kingdom talk. And I'm very pleased to say, kind of good news comes out of bad news. Now, if you're not in the UK, you may not know this story. A couple, I mean, it's something I've been following, I must say. A couple who tortured and murdered a 15-year-old boy they're accused of using witchcraft have been jailed for life. Well, thank God for that. Now, this couple did some terrible things to this boy, including being attacked with knives, sticks, metal, bars, ceramic floor tiles, bottles, and a hammer and chisel. Who also used a pair of pliers to twist this little boy's ear, and he drowned after he was placed in a bath for ritual cleansing. Now, these two people, what were their names? Bikubi and Baimu, who were convinced that he'd become a witch. They believed in witchcraft. But the judge said the belief in witchcraft, however genuine, cannot excuse an assault on another person. I mean, it's just horrific what happened to this little boy. His name was Christy, and he was visiting the couple from Paris for Christmas. And along with his siblings, who were also attacked by the couple after Bikubi accused them of bringing kindoki, or witchcraft, into his home. He beat all three of them and forced other children to join in with the attacks. The jury heard this is on the BBC website. At one point, this bloke told them to jump out the window to see if they could fly. It's just hideous, you know. Can you just imagine being? It's very, very sad. Can you just? That's got me, that story. Can you just imagine being that little boy? What he would have gone through. Attacked. It's almost worse, I think, being attacked by people you actually know. It was his sister. Kirsty Bamu and four of his siblings were visiting his sister, Magali Bamu, and her partner, Eric Bikubi, 29 and 28 when he was killed. Kirsty drowned in a bath in an exorcism at their flat in Newham, East London, on Christmas Day in 2010, after days of torture. And my heart goes out for this little boy, it really does. What a dreadful way to go, isn't it, eh? Anyway, they're back, they're in prison now. And I've never been to prison, don't suppose I'll ever go to prison. I might be a little bad here and there, but I'm not that bad, I don't think. But from what I've heard, stories about people in prison, when children are involved, the other prisoners get very upset. And they kind of take matters into their own hands. You know what I mean? I think we'll leave that story there. It's just horrendous, and I'm so glad that these two people, whether they believed in witchcraft or not, are now in prison for the rest of their lives, hopefully. This is the sort of thing where I think life needs to mean life. They should never be let out again. Your thoughts on that, please. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Another story here. Again, off the BBC website, children are being denied the enjoyment of outdoors and nature with consequences for their health, the head of the National Trust has warned. This lady told The Times the freedom of children to roam unsupervised has shrunk massively since the 1970s. Now, of course, I was a child, as long as with many of you, in the 1970s. It was a wonderful time to be a child. If you wanted to go out, you know, with your friends or on your bike for a bike ride or something, you just went. You know. Oh, Mum, so I'm just going out on my bike, Mum. OK, see you later. She wouldn't really ask where I was going or anything like that. I would be back on time. There never seemed to be any danger. I lived in Roehampton mainly from 1969. I was in Roehampton from 1969 right the way through until 1983. And it was wonderful going out, sometimes with my friend Peter, on our bikes, over Wimbledon Common or down to Powell Park in southwest London, and sometimes on my own. I would quite happily jump on my bike and go on my own over Wimbledon Common. Cycle for ages, just down the pathways, little quiet pathways, in between the trees, no one around really. You never thought that there might be someone waiting over there for you. But our parents worry so much. Even, I think, on the occasions I've had to drive down Roehampton, where I used to walk down to one end. It was a road called Danebury Avenue. Walk down one end to the other. Wouldn't think twice about it. I think you do now. I've driven down there and seen several undesirables hanging around outside shops and on street corners. I don't go down there very often, just a handful of times a year now, just to drive around and see what the place is like now. And it's very, very different to what it used to be when I was a child. Perhaps you've got children yourself, have you? Are you very careful when they go out? Do you worry where they're going? Do you tell them not to talk to any strange people? Does it worry you when they're going out? No, seriously, you know, when I was 63, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, when I was between 13 and 19, when I was going out on my bikes, Mum and Dad never ever used to worry about me. They never worried about me. You know? What do you think? The woman blamed nervousness and technology, adding that the creep of urban sprawl had destroyed safe places to play. Well, what do you mean by safe places? You see, Wimbledon Common is still there, where I used to go as a child. But would you now consider it safe? Are there really more murderers and people with knives walking around in these places waiting to drag a child off a bicycle and murder them? Or is it something that has been put into our minds by, I don't know, films and stories and things like that? Is it really just as safe to go around these places as it was in the 70s when I was a kid? I hate that word, kid, child. When I was a child. She goes on to say, the world is changing. It's more recognised now that some of these more innovative ways of teaching are just effective for literacy and numeracy, as sitting in the classroom in a very structured way. She was calling on schools to take the initiative and change the way they teach. Get people outside more, you know. And I think it's a great shame, really, that the children now can't go out and do the things I used to do. It's great to go out on your own, on a bicycle, where the trees and the grass are growing. But I just don't think, according to that story, that people allow their children to do that anymore. On the other side of the coin, there are, of course, other things keeping children inside now. Computer games, televisions in their bedroom. I never had a television in my bedroom, not until very, very late on, and a little black and white portable sitting in the corner of the room which I've hardly ever watched. I was always downstairs with mum and dad watching the telly. But there's all these things to keep children inside, you know, the computer games, DVDs, films, television, everything, it's all there. And I think, as well as perhaps the parents thinking it dangerous for them to go outside, I don't think they actually want to go outside a lot of the time. My nephew Jimmy has the best of both worlds. He likes going and playing football with his friends and going out and doing bits and pieces. But he also does have a computer game thing. I don't know what it is, a PlayStation 2 or Wii. I can't remember what it is now. He's got no interest to me at all, these computer games, I'm afraid. But he does have the best of both worlds. He does do it all, even though I personally think he spends too long playing these war games. Is it War Heroes or World of... I don't know what it is he plays. Call of Duty, that's it. Call of Duty. Now, I've seen that. I've seen that video game, Call of Duty. I wouldn't have a clue how to play it. Looks very complicated to me. But it's just basically about shooting people dead. Again, I don't think I had a computer game that shot real people dead. Not real, but, you know, on the screen they look like real people. We were shooting spaceships and having little Pac-Man eat buttons as it went around, or destroying rocks with asteroids, or more spaceships with Space Invaders and Galacticans. That was my favourite, Galactican. Did you ever play Galacticans? I think that was in the 80s, that one, early 80s, where these little things at the top, doo-doo-doo, and then they used to fly down, boo, and you'd have to blow them up. But I did spend a lot of time outside, and it is a great shame that children don't spend so much outside anymore. What do you think? My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right? OK, we've got lots of emails coming up, boys and girls, but I must tell you that I have ordered a new car. Yes! I went for my test drive on Monday. I liked it so much, and I have ordered a brand new car, a white Yaris. That's the next one up from the iGo. So I've ordered a Yaris, and that should be coming halfway through April. So although I actually don't get that excited about, it's just a mean, for me a car is am I a little bit dark over there? Just a minute. A car is a means from travelling to A to B. And as my car is 6 years old now, it's done 155,000 miles on the clock, and a couple of things have started going wrong with it, and that's why I'm trading it in, really. Plus the fact that Toyota at the moment, until the end of March, are doing 0% finance. Okay, so, you know, if the car costs, I don't know, say the car cost £1,000, over 3 years you would still pay £1,000, not £1,400. So that attracted me as well to it, the 0% finance. So there we are. New car coming, boys and girls. All right, emails, here we go. Oh, no, something else to tell you, boys and girls. Ronny's cat has had him cut off. His little boy cat has been... cut. Oh, bless, poor little thing. And I went up to visit him on Sunday night, actually. I went up to visit my friend Ron and his other half, Andy. And this cat, you wouldn't think it had been and had an operation just a couple of days earlier. The cat does seem to love me. It lies down next to me. It's only young. Lies down next to me and likes to be stroked and kissed. I do like his cat. Ralph, his name. Ralph the cat. Yes. And they go so big quickly, don't they? Kittens go to cats so quickly. This cat looks twice the size as it did the other day. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Poor little... It's been cut. It's been neutered. They've been cut off. Oh, I dread to think, don't you? Awful thing to happen. All right, emails then. Hello to Ross Patzelt, proud father of little Emily, who says, "Hi, Chris. I listen to your show every evening on loudspeaker on my mobile while feeding Emily." Are you breastfeeding her, Ross? Because looking at your photos, I think you could do that. Mind you, I could as well. I think Moobs are developing, to be honest. It's dreadful, isn't it? I think it might be the Cadbury's chocolate cream eggs that are doing it. I've taken a liking to those this year for some reason. Ross says, it seems to chill her out listening to you. Well, I am a great favourite among children. There are many, many families up and down the countries that put on my shows to send their children, to send their dearly beloved little children to sleep. Babies, anyone younger than 8 years old, put on my show, and it will gladly send, not just at that age, but even older people as well. When they're thinking, oh, I can't quite get to sleep, I'll put one of Chris Reardon's shows on, and they nod off within the first few words of me speaking. Ross says, on the subject of Alex Reid wanting to drink his newborn's breast milk from his girlfriend, is there actually something wrong with this bloke? There is. There is. He is such a headline grabber and does and says things to get him into the headlines. He is a very sad case of a wannabe celebrity. Oh, there's plenty of them out there. You've only got to look at the whole blooming cast of The Only Way is Essex for that. If he walked past me, I would know who he is, but would never stop to speak to him or give him a second look. He is famous for one thing. He once went out with Katie Price. Big whoop. I mean, I don't know. This business with the Katie Price. If you went out with Katie Price, surely you'd want to keep that quiet, wouldn't you? Eh? Well, how could you ever admit to going out with that old has-been? Huh? It's just dreadful, isn't it? You may remember, those of you that were with the show last week, Alex Reid's going out with this, is he married to her? I can't even remember now. Anyway, his girlfriend or wife, whatever it is going to have a baby, and he came on in the papers saying when the baby's been had, he wants to drink the breast milk. I mean, even if you did, surely you wouldn't go in the newspapers and tell people about this. It's another one of those things that you want to keep quiet about, isn't it? You know. I mean, there might be some things in my life that I want to keep quiet about, and I certainly do. But I suppose it keeps your name in the paper, doesn't it? It's very strange, very strange. He's a cage fighter, and he dresses in women's clothes. That doesn't quite go together for me. What about you? Ross says, I prefer your shows pre-recorded now, to be honest, as you keep it moving, and I think it got slowed down by the callers. And I love the news reviews. Yes, you may have noticed, Ross, that over the last few weeks I have tried to bring in more items of news so we can discuss news things. I always think that's quite an important... That was actually my best friend's idea, Ron's idea. He thinks I should do more news things and opinions on the news. My opinions on news, and then yours, of course, via the emails. Ross isn't doing radio so much. He says, I miss doing my radio so much, but I actually hardly get any time to do anything with radio-wise work as I am, as we work. He works... And also they've got the baby. Well, I say baby, it's a little girl. She's not a baby anymore. She's a little girl now. And children take up so much time, don't they? You know, I suppose they must do. I'm tempted to do my shows a little as and when I can, rather than a fixed time. But it's hard, as the little girl's asleep when I want to do a show. Well, would she actually wake? I wonder, actually, Ross. Would she actually wake up if you were doing a show? She might be so used to your voice that it would, you know, kind of keep her in that sleep zone type thing. Similar thing to my cat Katie. When she sleeps on my bed next to me, she purrs. Now, in the middle of the night, you know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, that purring sounds very loud. But it doesn't keep me awake at all. In fact, it helps to send me to sleep. It's a beautiful sound, cat purring. It really is. Sometimes she gets so close. Once, I could actually feel her head was right there. I turned over and her head was right there. No. I was sleeping like, you know, sort of on the side. And the cat come up to us, and I could actually feel her breath on my bottom lip. She was so close. Have you noticed that? Anyone else got cats that sleep close to them in their beds? Have you? And they get really close, don't they? to your head, to your mouth. Maybe it's the exhaled breath they like. Do they like the smell of it or what? I tell you what, there was one bloke on Saturday, older than me, when I was out somewhere, and he breathed in my face. Oh my God, I nearly died. It's dreadful, isn't that awful? Bad breath. I said to him, will you go and brush your teeth? And I walked off. It's awful, awful. And isn't that the worst thing in the world? Bad breath. When someone comes up to you and they start talking, they've got bad breath. You take a step away and they take a step forward and you take a step away. Ross says, great show as always. So glad you keep pushing yourself to do your show, and I love catching up with it at feeding time. All the best from Ross Patdelt. Thank you, Ross. Nice to hear from you, sir. It really is. Hello to someone who's put a comment on YouTube from Espanitado. I'm guessing you're Spanish, who just puts cool. One word, cool. Thank you very much. I'm glad you enjoy our little shows there. Hello to the lovely Jean Evans, who first of all sends this. He says, hi Chris, this is my son Nick and his dog Mackie in the USA. Wanted you to see his clock. Looks about the same size as your new one, and this clock is massive. And for some reason, my printer has printed this off 5 times. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know why it printed it off 5 times, but there we are. And there you can see Jean's son Nick and the massive clock that he's got on the wall up there. Can you see that? That is, but no, it's much bigger than mine. Oh, actually, the one, it might be about the same size as the one I've got downstairs. And he's on his laptop with the little dog. What's the dog's name? Oh, look at the dog. Mackie the dog. We like the dog. Dogs are wonderful things, aren't they? I mean, I couldn't possibly have one here. You know, you dog. It's not. Oh, there we are. Katie Price and Alex Reid. There's a picture of them there. Look. No, it's not Katie Price. It's what's her name? Chantel Houghton, and fiance Alex Reid. Look at them. Look at them. It's just. I'm sure it's not about these celebrities. I'm sure it's not about who loves who, but more likely, you know, who can I go out with so that we can get as much exposure in the papers as possible. That is it Chantel? Isn't she the one that was in that Big Brother programme that went out with that other boy? The very nice looking boy he was in the band. Oh, what's his blooming name now? Does it begin with K, does it? I can't remember the name of it now. Nice looking boy. Kyle. Was it Kyle? Something like that? No, it wasn't Kyle, was it? Can't remember now. I'm sure that's what it's all about. Who can I go out with to get the most exposure in the paper? Nothing to do with them loving each other or anything like that. Is it? It's shocking. Shocking. Jean also writes, enjoying your shows, Chris, especially the one on Saturday. It really cheered me up on a very wet Sunday afternoon. Yes, it was wet Sunday, wasn't it? Didn't stop raining here. Loved your singing and personal mention. The reason I haven't been around so much is a case of flu. So you've had it too. She says, yes, I know you suffered it as well. Trouble, I felt so sick with it and wanted to lay down all the time. Me too. But I'm fine now, hope you are. By the way, love your new clock that makes different sounds, different bird sounds on the hour. My Nick would love that too. Lots of love from Jean. You can get one of those clocks. They wasn't expensive, only about £14 that clock. And every time it hits the hour, we get a different bird song. Tweet, 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 tweet. Something like that anyway. Via YouTube, hello to Have You Done This? That's his YouTube username. And he writes, on the subject of your, I've got a sound recorder that is failing. Chris, buy a sound device's digital recorder. Even an SD702 would be better than a Nagra of old mates. So I'll have to have a look at that. I shall put my email to the side and look that up as soon as I finish the show. and see how much they are. Because quite frankly, the Nagra sound recorder I've got was very expensive. Still are very expensive. And I have a feeling it's probably going to cost me more to repair this than it would be to buy a new one. I've seen new ones of comparable. Remember, I only want this to record. So I don't need to edit or anything like that on it. Just need to record my sounds, and I've seen them for less than £100. What was the maker? Might have been a Zoom. Could have been a Zoom. I saw one advertised in the magazine the other day, so I might have a look at that. Hello to Cordy Laharwin 1. It's a long name, dear, via YouTube again. Cordell Harwin 1. What a long name. Who says, love the singing. Chris, we and Mike did enjoy it. More singing, please. Not today, I'm afraid. We can't be singing all the time, dear. We can't be singing all the time. Carl Waring writes, would I ever give you a thumbs down? Seriously? But you're right about the singing. I reckon you would, Carl. Because you like to make your point, don't you, dear? Oh, talking of points, I'm a bit concerned about my pointed stars that I have behind me now. I have some gold stars hanging behind me on the little light. I don't think they quite work. What do you think? Do we need to remove the gold stars behind me? Or shall I leave them there? I don't think they work. Please tell me what you think. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And finally on today's show, email here from American Cutie Pie. We love you, my darling, who says, oh, that is my favourite outro, Chris. The Union Jack flying, free in the breeze, pretty, white, fluffy, clouded, blue sky and all. Love it. Well, in that case, American Cutie Pie, especially for you today, the outro with the flag. That's it from the show today. Thanks very much for watching and listening. Don't forget my email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Please join in at any time. Anything you want to say, perhaps on the subjects we've been talking about at the beginning of the show, anything else at all, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. It's a Tuesday night, which means I'm hosting a quiz tonight. All are welcome at a lovely little pub right on the Thames, the Mayflower in Rotherhithe, southeast London. It'd be lovely if you could come down there, and if you do, please say, hello, I'm so-and-so, I listen to your show, or something like that. All right, so I know you up there. Then I can give you preferential treatment. Absolutely. You will get a gold star on your table if you come up and say that, okay? Once again, my email address, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I'll see you on the next show. Bye-bye.